Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
Where today we are standing clear of the doors and hopping aboard a mode of Disney transportation that everyone has come to love.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
both parks in the US.
What is it, Morgan?
The monorail.
Woo! The highway in the sky.
The highway in the sky. I like that name better.
I know, that's fun, right?
Yeah.
That's nice. It's got that futuristic, kind of ethereal Disney quality about it.
That
really.
retro futuristic. I love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely fitting.
We're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about all the stuff.
All the stuff. I can't believe we've never done an episode fully about the monorail.
Uh-huh.
The monorail is probably, in my opinion, one of the most recognizable symbols of Disney parks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because Disneyland obviously has an iconic monorail. It's Tomorrowland monorail.
Yeah.
We have a monorail that really acts as a true system of transportation.
Well, Disneyland's is now too. It didn't start off as that, but
yeah. If you're looking to go to downtown Disney.
Yeah, this topic was my mom's idea, and I said to Jake, "Have we not done the monorail?"
It seems crazy.
I know
that we've not done this.
Yeah. So thanks, Mom.
I'm glad we're getting around to it.
Yeah.
Morgan's done some research. It's gonna be a full monorail experience. Before we climb on board, though, guess what color you're gonna get? No, I'm just kidding.
I always play that game.
That is a fun game.
Yeah.
To play, a little built-in.
Guess which color monorail we're gonna be getting on? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I do it with the Skyliner now too.
Do you have a favorite color of the monorail? There's a lot of good ones. I like lime a lot. I like the shade of lime.
Really? I really like it, and this isn't fair, but I really like getting a wrapped monorail for a specific thing that's going on, like during the 50th, that 50th wrap that if you're watching the visual version, you might be able to see on our little toy monorail.
Yes.
And then they would occasionally do a different wrap, you know?
Yeah, they do that a lot in Disneyland too. They really have some cool wraps from the monorail over there as well. Those are really fun to see.
Well, the ones in Disneyland, one time when they were trying to take the wrap off, the paint was coming off too. So they're like, I guess we're gonna keep wrapping these.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well,
I think we've all had that moment where we accidentally take some paint off, but not an iconic monorail car.
Right. Maybe your wall of your room or something.
Yeah.
I should not have put a sticker there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Now your mom's gonna kill you.
Yes,
I've definitely had that day.
Right.
All right, before we dive into our monorail adventure here, we did want to say thanks for coming aboard the podcast today. We appreciate having you guys, whether you're on a listening platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you'd be willing to leave us a review, which would help us a lot, or you're interested in seeing the visual form of the podcast over on the Neverland Navigation Co. YouTube channel. We are so glad to have you. We would love to see you leave a comment, like the video, and if you could share with your friends, that would definitely help the show out a lot, and we would definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you are thinking about taking a trip either to one of the Disneys or a cruise or really anything, send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com so we can talk about it, because I can get you the same deal that you would get yourself or better, and I do deal monitoring, and you get free trip t-shirts for letting me help you book your trip. Yes. So I'm a travel agent, but you don't pay me Disney or Carnival or whoever you're booking with. They pay me, but they don't charge you more. So it's a good deal. Helping me out.
That's not only
help me help you.
Obviously beneficial for you, but I feel like having a travel agent is one of those things that nowadays a lot of people don't consider because they don't realize that it's free and just an easier kind of way to help you have a carefree type of travel experience. Who doesn't want that? Yeah,
you don't have to make that call. You don't have to call in when you've got a question or whatever. I do that for you.
That's nice.
Yeah. There have been times where I've been on hold to talk to Disney for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Remember our Typhoon Lagoon situation?
Oof, do I ever.
Oh, how long was I was on for hours, like 4 hours or something crazy like that.
But we got rained out of a water party and a water park
H2O
party.
Glow Typhoon Lagoon sitch, yeah.
Yes, and obviously on the way out of the park while everyone was exiting, there were huge huddles of people trying to get refunds or their park tickets or whatever. So we decided that we were not going to do that, and the wait time.
And they told us we could just call.
Yeah, just call. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Morgan did.
And
And
yeah,
wow.
was on hold for hours and hours and hours. And then when I got to somebody, they were like, oh, yeah, you need to go see guest relations. And I was like, you're lucky I live here.
Yeah, right? What if you
That was
couldn't just
crazy.
mosey over to Disney Springs?
Yes, exactly.
Because that's what they told you to do.
That is what they told me to do.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yes.
Not very convenient. Nope. You know what is convenient, though? Monorail transportation to the
I was
Magic
going to say having a
Kingdom.
travel agent do that for you. But yes,
Ooh.
monorail transportation can be convenient. We've got a mostly love, occasionally hate situation with the monorail.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how crazy it can be at night leaving Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Hate packing in there with a bunch of sweaty people and waiting in line for a lot of, a long time.
That mass exit from Magic Kingdom, the exiting process is rough, the waiting for the monorail is rough,
Right.
and the actual monorail ride back is rough.
Yeah.
It's just a tough little stretch of your day at your most vulnerable because you've been beat down by the sun and the waiting and the everything that comes with all the magic of a Disney vacation.
Yeah,
it can be a little bit tough. Other than
that time, I think the monorail is an enjoyable mode of transportation.
Oh yeah.
Nice now that it's air conditioned. That was not always the case. Can you imagine?
No.
And I think that convenient.
And a little futuristic, a little themed transport.
For us, very, very nostalgic. I'm sure to everybody at this point.
Right.
It's a iconic thing that is basically Disney only in the US.
Yeah.
There is a Las Vegas monorail that they use the exact same monorail system that Disney World has, but it's designed to look different, but it pretty much operates the same.
The mechanics.
Yes. It's also a Mark 6. But anyway, when Walt was thinking about this, he thought these would be everywhere, all over the US.
Right, like the people mover.
Yes, yes. So delving right into that, he was traveling with his wife in Germany near Cologne, and he saw a monorail system in Germany.
Yes, in Europe they've got these places, huh?
Yes, exactly. And he started collaborating with the person that made the monorail that he saw in Germany. He did a lot of international travel and a lot of times came back with ideas. And he had Alwig Research Corporation, which his name is on my information somewhere, but it's obviously Alwig is part of his name.
Gotcha.
To conceptualize a model that he could take back to Disneyland, which they wound up opening in I will jump to when they opened in a minute. I have so much research. There's a lot of information on all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, he was planning to have them build it in Germany and then ship it over.
The model or the actual monorail? Built in Germany and ships to? Okay, interesting. Wow.
Right. Obviously that didn't work out. So then they wound up coming over here and building it in the Disneyland, area.
Okay, gotcha. Work visas for everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's see. What's next? I'm starting with the very beginning history, right? And then a little bit, I'll jump to the Disney World since that's like what we...
That's where every good story starts.
Yeah.
The beginning. Yes.
So let's see. The monorail system debuted in 1959.
Okay, at Disneyland.
Yes. And ran until 1969, that first part operating just as a sightseeing attraction over Tomorrowland. So it was not like transportation like we have now. Okay. It was just doing a loop it was like People Mover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can totally envision that.
Yes.
Or like the ferry boat in Magic Kingdom.
Yes, exactly.
You just
right. You're on this for a ride, for a nice, relaxing...
You exchange your B ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what letter, but
I don't either, actually.
You exchange your ticket, you get a nice little ride. That's fun.
Yeah. He originally described it as the highway of the sky.
Aww.
It ran 41 feet above the ground, gliding along a 2.5-mile track at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. So, I mean, that's kind of a ride. You know what I mean? I think of it as like our first ride if you don't count the tram. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of the only free experiences you can have at Walt Disney World is riding the monorail.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hmm. As the this was the first operating monorail system in the entire United States. The debut of it was such a big deal that the ribbon cutting was attended by the then Vice President Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
So you can see some cool pictures of Richard Nixon. He actually got on the monorail with Walt, and then Walt was like, "Let's go," but so they were going like on a trip, the first ride.
Yes.
But the Imagineers weren't really prepared for that, and Richard Nixon's security detail wasn't prepared for that. So they were like running to keep up with the monorail. So it was a bit of drama, a bit of fun historical drama.
Oh, Walt Disney.
And right up until like that moment, they were having issues with the engine catching fire.
Oh.
Yeah, so
just that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the Imagineers that like had gone through so much were really just kind of crossing their fingers or praying or whatever that it didn't catch fire with Richard Nixon on it.
And their boss.
And their boss.
Yeah. Wow. Imagine how nervous they were.
Can you? Yeah.
No, I can't. So Secret Service is running after the monorail. It might catch on fire.
It might catch on fire.
Walt Disney's stolen Richard Nixon.
Yes, exactly. It
What
was
a
kind
day.
of a unexpected thing.
I was hoping I had heard that Richard Nixon was involved and that the Secret Service thing happened. I was hoping you would get into it just like you just did because I didn't know what the full story was and I can picture it now. You know?
Chaos. They're just doing whatever they want. We didn't plan for this.
It's so Walt Disney though to be like, oh come on, it's
it's fine. It'll be fine. Yeah.
It's the train in his backyard.
I agree. So the first monorail, what they had was the Mark I, and they had a red and a blue. And each of the monorails consisted of 3 cars each, which is almost comical to imagine because the ones that we get on now are so long.
I know. It's hard to imagine such a short little monorail.
Right. With no air conditioning. In 1961, it became a transportation system when the track was extended and they added a second station to the Disneyland Hotel.
Yay!
Yes. As part of this project, the Tomorrowland station was lengthened to accommodate a 4-car Mark II train. And at that point, they added a third train, which was yellow. Okay. So they went pretty quickly from the Mark I to the Mark II. I mean, it's 10 years, but
ours has been the same for 50.
When I wrote out this part, so I've got all of the Mark train options listed. Cool. When you get to the Mark VI, I wrote WDW got the Mark VI in 1989, and that ... is ... still ... because it's like I cannot believe
it is kind of crazy, huh?
What?
Yeah, right? Especially because Bombardier, or whatever, however you say that, the company that manufactures them, they're up to some crazy number of what they manufacture.
Yeah.
So they exist. It's just we're still on 6
I know.
After all this time, it's crazy.
A lot of airports have monorails now. I feel like they have to be getting cheaper. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's not true. But it's that part is the most mind-blowing aspect.
I agree. That's crazy.
So they went from Disneyland went from the Mark I to the Mark II pretty quick. Yeah. Both platforms were lengthened again in 1968 for the new 5-car Mark III train, which added a 4th green train. So it was pretty quick again now to get to the Mark III.
Wow.
Yes.
It's interesting to see which colors came first. I'd never considered that.
Yeah, they went primaries.
Yeah, that is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
So logical. I love it.
Right. I feel like the colors we have now are non-logical.
They're crazy.
Lime?
Gold?
Yeah. Coral?
Yeah, teal. It doesn't make any sense.
Those are obviously real colors.
Secondary colors.
Yeah.
Except for gold. That's something else.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
make any
Yeah.
sense. Don't we have a black as well?
I think so. I've got them all listed
All right,
somewhere.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump ahead.
No, it's okay.
All right.
So the Mark IVs was Disney World's first monorail.
Okay. Oh, right.
So when Disneyland gets their new monorail stuff after the Mark III, they're going to jump to the Mark V.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the Mark IV would be Disney World's first monorail, which opened with the park. So I'm not even going to say, I couldn't really find much information about the Mark IVs, to be honest.
I think the main difference was that the doors were actual doors, right?
Well, they had to be closed by a cast member. So if that's what you mean, they weren't automatic.
They weren't, yeah. And they weren't like the ones that slide out. They were like hinged.
Oh, okay.
They were like swinging doors up the cast members close. I think that's what the difference was.
Okay. I also know that there are safety things that get added for the next couple because of some incidents that we're going to talk about later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I guess, with something this new, although I don't know if they were having any incidents in Europe or Germany, but with something this new, I guess it's like you don't know to put these safety things in, to take them into consideration until something rough happens.
Well, yeah, think about how much cars have changed.
I mean,
since they've started.
Yeah.
For safety features and stuff. It's like everything, everything gets enhanced safety codes.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice when you can tell that they thought of something ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's definitely the preferred situation, but sometimes, unfortunately,
I'm the type of person that will think through what bad stuff could happen, and it's a really terrible way to live.
Right.
But it does. I think that's what they need.
Hope
you know
for
what
the
I mean?
best, prepare for the worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like the wild days of innovation where they were just flying a mile a minute and inventing. That's how I picture this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe safety wasn't the first.
Yeah,
priority
they probably had a bunch of safety things, but there were just some things that they hadn't considered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this was also at a time where it was not mandatory for buildings to have like sprinkler fire extermination systems.
Yes, exactly.
Like there was just stuff
that's one of the things they didn't have at the beginning was a fire detection.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is one of the major incidents that happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Did you know?
No, I didn't know they caught on fire.
Well,
that's not. Well, you're telling me Richard Nixon the very one he was riding,
and that's not even what I'm talking about. That was the engine catching fire, which wouldn't. I don't know. You know what I mean? But later we get to an incident with a fire in an actual car with guests in it.
Keep listening.
And,
to get to the fire.
The stress of trying to get out.
Gosh.
That's the part that is.
Did they have
horrific.
AC at that point? Because that must have been a hot monorail car.
Yeah. So the Mark V was Disneyland's next monorail. What are we calling this? Model?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So by the early 1980s, Disneyland's Mark III trains were aging.
Yeah.
And at that point, they cared. Leading to their phased replacement starting in 1985. The Mark III trains were stripped down and rebuilt as Mark V trains.
Okay.
So this is like what they do with animatronics. We're not scrapping the whole thing. There's no trade-in value for an old monorail.
Sure.
So we're just going to take it off and upgrade what we can.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We're okay with this.
Yeah, I would wish they would do that to ours right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need a brand new train.
Exactly.
Just make it different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just some upgrades would be nice.
Let's at least get to Mark 7.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, the Mark 7 exists in Disneyland because they keep upgrading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just
still
left
in the
dust.
Yeah.
All right.
So where was I? So they were aging, so they were stripping down and rebuilding the Mark IIIs as Mark Vs with some color changes. Green became purple. So this is where we start going crazy. The beginning of the
crayon boxes come out. Okay.
Yeah. Yellow became orange. Blue remained blue, but it's a lighter shade now. And red stayed red. Okay. I don't know why I'd bother, but yeah, I guess just to show it's new.
Yeah, just to kind of.
We no longer have green.
Yeah.
We now have purple.
Rip green.
Yeah. Well,
Go away,
Disney tells
green.
us green blends in. Yeah, so maybe that's the problem.
We're looking to stand out.
Right.
Got
So
it.
lime in Disney World.
Oh, right. That's why ours is like
Yeah.
electric lime.
This is the opposite of go away green.
It truly is, isn't it? It's like a catch me color.
Yeah, safety vest
Yes.
green. The new Mark V trains feature a streamlined Learjet look, so they changed the look a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They had a closed passenger compartment. Before that, it was an open air type situation.
Okay.
But they had openable windows. Bless you.
Thank you.
And after a 1985 monorail fire at Disney World, which I'll get into in a little bit, safety features.
Oh, it was here?
Oh, it was here.
Oh.
It was here, and it was pretty early on.
Okay.
Safety features like handrails and emergency exit hatches were added, so you could escape the fire.
Yeah. Okay, that wasn't there before.
No. I
Got
know. I know.
Okay.
When I started researching this part, this is when I texted you and I was like, yeah, this will be okay. Because when I started researching this, I was like, I don't know if this is interesting enough, because it was like, oh, the monorail can go this speed. Oh, the track is this long. It was very not stuff that we can.
But look at us now. We've kidnapped the president of the United States.
Yeah.
There's a fire.
There's a fire.
There's
it
a
got
lot.
interesting.
Wow, really fast too. Okay, when is the fire?
Okay, it was in 1985.
Okay, got it. So
Okay.
we're like, all right, we're almost 15 years into Walt Disney World being a thing, and our monorail is catching on fire.
Yeah, and like almost killing people, but not.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the safety features were added for the Mark V that included handrails and emergency exit hatches. Let's see, this is just telling you who constructed it. I'm not even going to go into that because I'll butcher these names. The new trains were introduced between the fives in Disneyland between 1986 and 1988, with purple being the first and red being the last to be refurbished.
Okay.
So it was a slow process. This is exactly what I think they should do for us.
Mm-hmm. I honestly had not realized that Disneyland had gone through so many different models of the monorail.
I know.
I had known that they hadn't always had the same one, so I had assumed that they maybe started with a 1 and then at some point jumped to the 5. But they really go, no, this is old. 1, 3,
right.
4, 5.
It was 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's a lot.
That's quick.
And interestingly enough, and somebody might feel free to argue with me. I went on the Disneyland monorail, I don't know, at some time in the past couple years, which is since they got the Mark 7s, which is newer than what we have at Disney World, but I didn't feel like it was as updated as Disney World's. Like I felt like it was old also.
Ours have been like on the interior, they have been refurbished quite a few times.
I feel like the interior of ours is nicer. I like the way that ours is laid out. Okay. The one there, the seating is just different. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The configuration of the car.
And that has changed a lot over the years. To begin with, there was no standing room. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of being packed in, which we have now. But
sometimes.
Yeah, but in a different way. Yeah. So that has changed, and I feel like what we have works, I guess.
I'm glad we have safety hatches and handrails. That's nice. Thanks for that,
Thank
Disney.
you.
Yeah. Actually, we won't complain about the monorail
I guess we'll
anymore.
stop.
Yeah,
I guess we'll stop.
We're grateful.
So Walt Disney World was the next one to get an upgrade, and that was the Mark 6s in 1989.
Okay, so we
that is what we still have.
Okay. 1989.
1989. So this is also interesting to me, and maybe I get to it and I just forgot, but the fire was in 85. Surely they weren't running it without the new safety things between 1985 and 1989. I guess I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Gotcha. That's really interesting that I'm assuming that it's a budgetary reason that we haven't.
That's what I always
monorails?
read, because the monorails cost back in the day $3.5 million each. So
chump change now.
Yeah, that's nothing now. But so now it would be more, more. That's what I always hear. But then you think, but they're doing all this other stuff.
Well,
They
yeah.
must just feel like it's good enough. And I mean, it is functional.
There's been no major incident in quite some time,
The
so
incidents that we've had since I've been an adult are little. I guess it's like a piece fell off.
a piece did fall off.
A door. They ran with the doors open.
They ran with the doors open. Those are the two big ones
And then
that I can remember.
right, and of course this is in the age of cell phones, so people videoed that stuff like crazy.
Exactly.
So I don't know if we would have even heard about that stuff happening in the 70s and 80s.
Very good point. Maybe not.
That could have been happening every other run. Just kidding.
They just do that sometimes. They
They
open up all the doors.
Just hold on.
Everybody hold on.
It's an open air ride.
Yeah, it's like when they run a roller coaster backwards.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, just for fun.
So the Mark VI, which is our upgraded version that we got in 1989, that is when we got the automatically closing doors, which it has to be super helpful. I can't. That was a long time to go with manually closing doors.
Yeah, like a limousine.
Right.
That is a long time to go.
Right. So I need to find my spot. Mark VI. I'm sorry, I was about to jump ahead. So
it's okay. There are a lot of marks. It's very easy to confuse all these marks for each other.
That the closing doors eliminated the need for the cast member to walk from one end of the train to the other. So, and unlike the previous Mark IV, the Mark VI. Hold on. And you said Disney World they're longer, the cabins were wider, and now contain standing room. So that's the first time, the 6s and 89 are the first time we got standing room.
Really?
Which is helpful. I mean, I've never been on a car without a stroller with like 5 kids.
Yeah, I just had always assumed that there was standing room. I just always pictured standing room. So to hear that it was...
Because like on a subway, there's standing room. You know what I mean? Every other mode of transportation that's anything similar to this, you've always seen standing room. So
a
of
pole
course,
or a handle to hang on to. Yeah,
right.
So it is very strange to hear that.
I think that adding the standing room made it less like a ride and more like a bus, like a transportation.
Yeah, it definitely changed the feeling a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know which Walt would have wanted, because originally he was thinking it would be some sort of transportation situation that everybody would be used to and have, but it opened as a ride. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Kind of interesting,
right?
To think about.
Air conditioning and heating was also improved on the Mark VI.
Nice. We're always down for an air conditioning improvement.
I can't. Yeah.
That's kind of improvement for me.
Right, and ours, I don't ever remember us having windows that open, so you absolutely need air conditioning on those. I was shocked when the Skyliner, which opened recently, we were told it wasn't gonna have air conditioning. I was like, you are out of your mind. You know what I mean? Nobody's getting on that. We're gonna bake.
I think everyone in Florida at the same time was like, what do you mean? You know?
Yeah.
How could that be?
But it worked out. So science. So the Mark VII is Disneyland's current monorail. Okay. So they got upgraded again.
So they're what, one ahead of us?
They are one ahead of us. Okay. And the Mark VI is what Vegas has. I don't know. I think I said that earlier.
Yeah. Okay,
that's the only other Mark monorail in the U.S.
Okay. Yeah, I know there are some other transportation systems in like airports that call themselves monorails, but the technology is probably a little bit different, like the manufacturing is different.
I think I guess I could be wrong, but the Vegas one is the only other one that I came across connections.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So with the Mark VII, like the Mark III to the V, they did a slow conversion where they took out what wasn't working and added things that would work better.
Yeah.
The entire Mark VII fleet consists of 3 trains, red, blue, and orange. So the Mark VII train, Monorail Red, arrived at Disneyland on December 20th, 2007. It was originally expected to be in service until the end of February 2008, but due to design change issues, it didn't begin servicing the park until 2008. The Mark VII Blue arrived in 2008, and let's see, the orange arrived in later in August 2008. The other one was April.
Okay.
So these are what are there now. I think they only have the three now, and I think that the monorail is used considerably less in Disneyland than it is in Disney World.
Right.
So maybe the fact that we have like 9 is the problem.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm just saying that
To
would be a
update
lot.
all of
Yeah,
them?
right.
Yeah. They'd have to go one by one, huh?
Yeah. So the colors that we as in Disney World,
Uh-huh.
our Mark 6s are red,
Uh-huh.
coral with white deltas, orange, gold, yellow, teal with white deltas, lime with white deltas, green, blue, silver, black, and peach.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have retired colors, purple and pink.
I remember pink. I don't know
Yeah.
about purple.
Yeah.
Do you remember purple?
I don't, you know how you don't know if you remember it or if you just know you saw a picture?
Totally.
Yeah, so I don't know either. I've seen a picture. Somebody is selling one of the doors to Monorail Purple online for $12,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody want to
Go
go in
in.
on that? That would be a cool little
Yeah.
piece of set dressing for
Yeah.
us.
And it's figment purple. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm,
purple.
I love it.
So now I'll talk a little bit about the Walt Disney World specific monorail because that's what we focus on.
Yeah, that's the home part
That's our
here.
bread and butter.
Yeah.
The Walt Disney World monorail operates over a span of 14.7 miles, and guests are traveling on the monorail. Around 50 million Disney guests travel on the monorail each year.
Wow.
That has to be so much more than Disneyland, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because with Disneyland, it goes from Tomorrowland to now it goes to downtown Disney. And I will say this too. I don't think that this is in my notes, but that station, from what I could understand, wasn't moved. It's that the hotel moved.
Okay,
The
got it.
hotel, and this makes perfect sense when you think about it, used to be kind of more like the All-Star, where it was like wide and 3 stories tall, but now they like wanted a lot of their land back, so it takes up a smaller footprint, but is tall.
Right.
So that left this land that used to be the front of the Disneyland hotel. That they used for downtown Disney, and so now it's a downtown Disney stop.
Right.
The stop didn't change. But I think people think that the stop moved.
Right.
And it didn't.
That makes a lot of. It's hard to imagine. A lot of people aren't as familiar with the history of the Disneyland Hotel as with Disneyland.
Right.
But the Disneyland Hotel used to be like you were saying, like outdoor hallway.
Yeah.
Like motel style rooms with gardens in the middle type of situation.
Right. Kind of sprawling, not a skyscraper. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like big old grounds. And then toward the front was the monorail station and the monorail cafe. And when all of that stuff went away with the reconfiguration of the Disneyland Hotel, it is cool that they were able to still use the monorail station for something.
Oh, yeah. I think that it's, I want to say better.
Oh, it's definitely, I think it helps more people because more people are going to downtown Disney than staying at the Disneyland Hotel.
And it's not far from the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah,
so it's like a 5-minute walk and you can still use it totally. And if you're in the Grand Californian, it's a close walk.
Mm-hmm.
And Pixar Pier. I mean, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not Pier, Pixar Place.
The hotel.
So, the hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm right that time, right? About the name of the hotel. Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. It just changed.
Yeah, it's hard to.
It was Paradise Pier. Paradise Pier Hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's a weird one, huh?
Right.
Yeah. It's weird that they did a hotel after a studio. I know that this is random topic of conversation, but we just haven't talked about it. That they picked Pixar as the theme of a hotel. That's wild. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's just they haven't done like a Marvel. Well, I guess they do now, huh?
They have a Marvel hotel in Paris.
Oh, that's right, in Paris.
It's
New
New
York
York
hotel.
Yes.
Wow. Times have changed, huh? Whoever would have thought? They used to just have the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah. Right. Disneyland doesn't have a lot of space to be building all kinds of hotels. So, yeah.
Right. All right. Sorry for the detour.
Oh, no. That's okay.
Back to your regularly scheduled monorail loop.
Right. So, The three services on two distinct routes on the Walt Disney World monorail are. That was all I was trying to say about the Disneyland one, right? Yeah, that it's
The
now downtown
track.
Disney. Got it.
Right.
So in Disney World, we have the express and resort services that are on a dual beamed Magic Kingdom route. And then we have the express service between the Magic Kingdom and the ticket and transportation and ticket center. Express services run on the outer loop of this route and travels counterclockwise. The resort round trip local service on the inner loop running clockwise, which is I guess interesting to note because I used to, now I've got it down, but I used to try to remember, okay, if I get on the resort one, where is it going first?
Yeah, it actually, I still sometimes have to really think about it for a
Yeah.
minute to like get the order of where things are right, which is silly because we've done it a million times. But
Yeah, but we're always talking. The monorail
oh yeah,
isn't like you're not paying attention, you're talking about plans and stuff like that.
it also is the perfect way to get you excited about where you're going.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it runs clockwise and making stops in order at the Magic Kingdom, Contemporary Resort, the Transportation and Ticket Center, Polynesian, and then Grand Floridian. There is a single beam Epcot route. The Epcot service between the Transportation and Ticket Center and Epcot service on this route is a single beam running clockwise on the loop. So it's not like there's one going back and one coming. It's
right, all
it's
one.
just going around and around.
Gotcha.
All right. The system opened up with the rest of Walt Disney World on October 1st, 1971. It initially featured 4 stations: the Transportation and Ticket Center, the Polynesian Resort, the Magic Kingdom, and Disney's Contemporary Resort. The Epcot line and station were opened when Epcot opened, opening on October 1st, 1982. The most recent addition is the Grand Floridian. I didn't know that, but it makes sense. I just didn't. I didn't really have it all figured out in my head about the order.
I often forget that the Grand Floridian was not there.
Kind of late to the game. Yeah.
I always think of it
To
as
me,
OG.
been there as long as I can remember. So
right.
Yeah.
Same. That's one of the core originals, but it's not.
Right. So that opened in 1988 along with the hotel, which opened in 1988. During the construction of Epcot, Florida residents could request a complimentary ticket for a round trip on the Epcot line to get a sneak peek of the park. Oh my God.
I hope somebody still has one of those
Video.
tickets.
Yeah.
Or the video.
But it would have to be like an old school video.
Over the shoulder camcorder.
Man,
wow.
That would have been an amazing experience.
Yeah, to see Epcot be built.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, the ball going up.
I know.
I'm guessing they started this after that was done. But I don't have any idea. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. It is really, you can see pictures of Epcot being built, obviously. There's a million pictures of Epcot being built. But to see it from that vantage point, because if you've never taken the monorail into Epcot, you probably have. You can see the whole park. Yeah, it's really,
it's beautiful.
It's like an intimate journey into Epcot. You get really close to stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love taking the monorail into Epcot.
Me too.
Underrated experience.
Yeah, and we liked it when they were just building like Moana's area.
Yeah,
because it was like
time.
a sneak peek.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like when they were done with the Tafiti figure, the big one. That's the first time we ever saw it was from the monorail.
Yeah.
It's a cool.
Very cool.
Point. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I mean, to be able to see the park, that would be wild. So the trains that we have now have been in use since 1989, and they are 203 feet and 6 inches long. They have 6 cars now, and they carry 360 passengers. Probably starting there.
Yeah.
The trains are driven by 113 horsepower motors, which are powered by a 600-volt electrical system running through a bus bar mounted on each side of the concrete beam. This is the part where I was like, my eyes are glazing over,
Technical details.
Yep. I'm going to skip past a bunch of this technical stuff. But the drivers are called pilots, not cast members. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and there are a lot of safety features, one of which they nicknamed Mary Poppins. Well, it's called Mary Poppins, and they nicknamed it Mappo.
Oh, cool.
It,
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
once upon a time, Walt Disney's production company was also Maypo, short for Mary
Maypo.
Poppins.
Yeah.
So, do you? I don't mean to ask a technical question,
Hmm.
but in general, what area do you know? What area of
Oh,
safety
I
the?
know exactly what it does. Is that what you
Okay,
want to know? Oh,
yes.
good. Hold on. The speed limits are strictly enforced by the train's computer and cannot be overridden without the operator engaging in special lockout. Attempting to drive the train too quickly will result in overspeed stop and you'll get in big trouble. Train spacing. This is it. Train spacing is maintained by the moving block light system, also known as MAPO system.
Okay.
So it establishes a number of hold points throughout the system. At any given time there must be at least two hold points between a given train and the train ahead of it. When the train detects that there are fewer than two hold points between itself and the preceding train, the emergency brakes are immediately applied and cannot be released until sufficient spacing becomes available, or the operator explicitly overrides the system. Failure to maintain adequate spacing is known as an overrun and is treated as an extremely serious offense. So that's it.
Okay. Wow, really? And they call that Maypo for
Yeah,
this. That's really interesting.
I know.
That's very similar to how safety zoning works on roller coasters. So you have sections
It
of the
makes
track,
sense.
and
Yeah,
if one is in one section and there's not enough spaces between, it
it
shuts the
stops.
whole ride down.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's like basically exactly the same as
And
this.
it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, let's see. Okay.
I bet at the time that was considered to be a pretty forward thinking. Because what year is this? 19. You said our
89.
most recent ones were 1989.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's about the time that that type of safety regulation started to become standard in roller coasters across the United States as well. Was the 90s, so they were a little bit ahead of the curve on that as well.
Yeah. I'm going to jump into incidents and
The
then
opposite of safety.
yeah, I don't want
Okay.
to end on incidents. So, I
Well,
mean, we are kind of going to end on incidents.
that's okay. I have some fun, lighthearted
Oh, good.
questions, lighthearted, personal opinion questions for you at the end about the monorail.
Okay,
So,
great. So, emergencies requiring train evacuation are handled differently depending on the location of the train and the nature of the emergency. So, I found this interesting because I can't imagine having to do this. Maybe you can picture this in a way that makes more sense to you, but I'm going to tell you what they are saying about how an emergency evacuation would take place.
okay.
This is now, and you tell me if you can imagine. If a train is stopped at a station platform, okay, so easy, right?
Hmm.
Or at the work platform along the Epcot beam, guests will exit the train onto the platform. Exiting a train is possible even when the doors of the train are closed. The large rectangular window of the middle of each car is an emergency exit and can be removed from the interior of the car.
Hmm.
A cast member outside of the car can also forcibly open the rightmost door panel of the car by releasing the air pressure holding that panel closed. The the air pressure release is a handle beneath the rectangular center window that is similar in appearance to a car door handle.
Okay.
Okay, so that makes sense. Obviously, if you're at a station,
Right. Best
you just
place.
yeah, you just walk off.
Yeah, best
All
place to
right.
have an emergency.
Here's the kind of shocking, oh my god, this better never happen to me situation, right? If a train is stopped on an open beam, then guests evacuate through an emergency exit located in the roof of the train. Guests open the roof hatches by first removing the decorative plastic from the ceiling above a bulkhead footstool, and then by lifting open a hinged hatch that will flip across the bulkhead, dividing two train cars. Guests evacuate to the roof by climbing through the open hatch onto the top of the train. Bear in mind you're way up in the air. Okay,
On a monorail beam.
yeah. The bulkheads separating cars are designed as firewalls that will contain a fire within a car to just that car. So the open hatch allows guests in a car that was hypothetically on fire to leave via the roof,
Mm-hmm.
walk along the roof of the monorail, and get into the car next to them that cannot subsequently catch fire because there's a firewall in between
Oh
the
my
two. Oh
gosh.
my God. It gets worse.
Oh.
Yeah. So if the emergency affects the entire train, then guests are evacuated to the surface of the beam. Guests again open the emergency roof hatches, but do not simply move to an adjacent car. Instead, they use a small handrail present along the top of each train car to move all the way to the front of the train. The train's pilot can attach a knotted rope to both the top and the base of the windscreen, and guests use the rope to shimmy down the windscreen to the surface of the beam. They finally will start walking along the beam, again, way up high, away from the train.
Okay.
Okay, this would be like, I, somewhere in there I would have a heart attack.
I know,
So
right?
you
Is
just
it the
have to leave
shimmying
me.
down the windshield for you?
Yeah,
That's what would do it for
way,
me.
way up high.
Like you're holding onto the rope.
I'm sorry, you have a
shimmying.
knotted rope for me to shimmy.
That is so intense.
And then you've made it that far, and you're gonna walk along a beam
like a tightrope walker.
I know it's probably way wider than I'm imagining in my head, but in my head I'm like balance beaming it down to contemporary.
I cannot. I need to start wearing a GoPro in case this ever happens to me, because I don't think anyone would believe me if I told them that I was in an emergency that caused me to remove the decorative plastic on the top of the monorail,
I know.
open the hatch, climb out, use the handrail along the top of each car.
So, and I'm imagining like a movie, and you're like,
Mission Impossible.
Yes, yeah, you're like,
oh my gosh.
Then you get to the front. So possibly from 6 cars back, you get to the front to shimmy down a knotted rope down the windshield.
Has this ever has
No.
anyone had to do this?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh my god.
Not that I have found.
Wow.
So
that is so crazy.
But the fact that this is the plan.
That's in a manual somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be bad enough to be like, okay, you're just going to get on the roof, and then you're going to go over to the car next to you to get away from a fire.
Right. Already so scary.
Already terrifying because you're high.
If there's a fire.
And we're talking about balancing, and we're talking about anybody, not just...
And if you fall off the side of the monorail, by the way, there's nothing that's going to help you through that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeek. Wow, nothing has ever panicked me more than that.
I know. It kind of makes you want to stop taking the monorail.
This is our anti-monorail episode. No, that is really...
We're going to be walking a lot, you guys.
I know, right? That walk is no joke, too.
Yeah.
That's a long walk to get where you're
It's on the ground.
I know. You don't have to shimmy down the windshield.
Can we practice for this? I just want to make sure I'm ready.
It's not fair that they get to practice for this and we don't.
I know.
Because you know what? I bet the pilots all have to do this all the time.
I bet they know what they're doing.
Yeah, right? That's a lot. Okay.
And you're telling grandma to shimmy
that's something else I was thinking about. Babies? Everyone has to shimmy down the windshield, huh?
That's the plan. We thought it through.
Wow.
It's okay. We've got a plan.
Yeah, that is a plan. That is a plan.
That's the plan.
Wow. I have never heard that before.
Oh my god.
All right. Good to know. Let me file that in the back of my mind underneath deepest, darkest fears.
Yeah. You didn't know it would involve the monorail, but it does.
Wow. Por favor.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Now I'm extra serious about these things they want you to do. Mm-hmm. Please stay away. Do not cause any emergencies. We cannot handle emergencies.
No. Nobody. Put your cigarette out.
Yes.
Please.
My God. Okay. So now we'll go into incidents that actually happened that made people have to do crazy things.
Okay.
Or not. In February 1974, a monorail crashed into the train ahead of it. 1 driver and 2 passengers were injured. Okay, so that was early days.
Here, Walt Disney World?
No.
I'm sorry. What was?
I'm sorry. It probably was Walt Disney World.
What was the date?
February 1974.
Oh, okay. So it could be either. Interesting.
Yeah,
That
I
was the
didn't.
first monorail crash, huh?
Yes, and that one I didn't read anything about what colors it was or like what
Right.
the damage was, because it was probably a, let's say, fender bender, because there's not much
Sure.
information
Just
on it.
some injury,
Injury.
no
Yeah.
fatalities. Gotcha.
On June 26th, 1985, a fire engulfed the rear car of the 6-car Mark IV silver monorail.
Oh,
Do we not have silver anymore? I'm guessing not.
I guess not.
Okay, so a fire engulfed the rear car. So this is before the safety stuff
Oh,
of the 6-car Mark IV silver monorail train in transit from the Epcot station to the Transportation and Ticket Center. This fire predated onboard fire detection systems,
oh.
emergency exits, and evacuation planning.
I'm
No
sorry.
shimmying.
Hold on. Predated
All of
emergency
that. Yep.
exits? So,
You want to guess what people had to do?
no.
Passengers in the car kicked out the side
That was
windows.
my guess.
Yeah, well, it is the obvious guess. Good
Wow.
job, guys. I'm glad you were able to do that. And climbed around the side of the train to reach the roof, where they were subsequently rescued by the Reedy Creek Fire Department. 7 passengers were hospitalized for smoke inhalation and other injuries.
I'm glad everyone was able to pull themselves up from the side window. I'm
They're
sorry.
lucky. They're lucky that they had all able-bodied humans in that car. You know what I mean?
That is terrifying.
It's
Hanging
terrifying.
out the side of the monorail with nothing below you
Hmm.
to get to the roof of the monorail. Yeah, this was wow.
With a fire nipping at you, yeah. Wild. And that fire was not caused by a cigarette, which is, of course, I don't know if everybody that's what they would think.
That is what I think.
Yeah, I was thinking that
Especially, what did
time,
you say? What year is
85.
this? Oh yeah, baby.
Yes,
We're smoking.
Yep, it wasn't that. It had to do with a tire dragging
Oh,
and catching fire.
the rubber.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that got the whole car, huh?
I guess.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, that is terrifying. So they were rescued though by Reedy Creek.
they were.
Great. Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Terrifying, but glad everybody
Terrifying.
had done some pull-ups that morning and everyone was good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
Wow.
On August 30th, 1991, a monorail train collided with a diesel maintenance work tractor near the Contemporary Resort. As the tractor drove closely in front of the train to film it for a commercial, 2 employees were treated at a hospital for injuries.
Oh, terrible. Okay.
Yeah. On August 12th, 1996, an electrical fire occurred on a train pulling into Magic Kingdom Station. The driver and 5 passengers on board exited safely. 2 bus drivers who witnessed the fire and assisted were overcome by smoke and treated at a nearby hospital.
Okay.
That one's a little harder for me to understand.
It sounds like they were helping people get off the monorail and the smoke really got them because they were
Yeah.
probably going in and out of the car a bunch
Okay.
of times,
Okay.
maybe, or something like
Yeah,
that. That's
sure.
the only thing I could think. Good on those bus drivers
Yeah.
for really
Yeah.
helping make sure everybody got out of there safely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
On the way into the Magic Kingdom.
I know, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then this is obviously the worst one, the bad one, the one most of us know. On July 5th, 2009, during a failed track switchover from the Epcot line onto the Magic Kingdom Express line, Monorail Pink backed into Monorail Purple at the Transportation and Ticket Center station, killing the 21-year-old pilot of Monorail Purple. 1 employee and 6 guests who were also on the trains were treated at the scene and released. OSHA, is it OSHA?
Yes.
Did you say OSHA? And park officials inspected the monorail line, and the monorail reopened on July 6th, 2009, after new sensors and operating procedures were put into place. An investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board showed no mechanical problems with the trains or track, but did find that the track used in the switchover was not in its proper place for track transition. The NTSB also noted that Purple's pilot attempted to reverse his train when he saw that there was going to be a collision. Disney suspended 3 monorail employees as a result of the incident. Does all of that make it sound like it was somebody's human error?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. because I thought the switchover thing, maybe somebody was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. On October 31st, 2011, the National Transportation Safety Board issued its findings on this incident, citing the probable cause as the shop panel operator's failure to properly align the switch beam before the monorail train was directed
Oh,
to reverse through it.
terrible.
Yes. That one's really sad.
So sad. And if I recall, this is the incident that led to a change that a lot of guests maybe notice, which is previously there was a thing where you could be selected to ride.
Yes.
Is that? Oh, are you
Yeah.
getting to that? Okay,
Yes.
never mind. Sorry.
Well, I'll just jump in with that if you'd like.
Sure.
All I have is a blurb, so you can actually say it.
Sure. It was just that. Is that you used to be able to be selected to ride up there in the pilot cabin with the pilot.
Yep.
And I believe it was that accident following that that they suspended that altogether. Only Disney personnel in there. Which is sad, but totally understandable because that is a
they don't want to take any chance that
Did you ever get to do that?
I did a lot.
I got to do that as well.
Yeah.
It was not uncommon at all.
It wasn't
They
uncommon.
did that like every time.
And apparently it was only up to 4 guests. So
oh, really? I didn't know. Okay, interesting.
That's interesting. And what I read said that they were offered or given a co-pilot license at the end of their journey. I don't remember that.
I feel like it may have been like a piece of paper, like a certificate.
Yeah, I don't recall that. I wish I had one.
Ago.
Yeah,
maybe somewhere.
But if it's a piece of paper, is it going to survive your park day? No.
I don't know. I would say no, but then again, our good friend Victoria, hi, we haven't brought you up in a while.
Oh, wow.
She has a certificate still from when she was chosen to be included in the Pocahontas and her forest friends show over at Animal Kingdom, which is now where
but
Pandora,
that's big. Wasn't that like big acting for her?
She just had to bang on a drum, I believe.
Well, that's acting. And now she does some acting. So
actually that makes sense.
Pocahontas started it all for her, really.
I missed that show. I do wish I still had that too. The license thing. That's
very
so cool. I bet it's on the internet.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So that is something that was lost to this accident. Completely understandable.
Yep.
It was just something they could not have thought of. And then,
after that incident,
then you go, wait a minute.
Of course, yeah.
Right. So another thing that came of this accident is that Monorail Pink and Purple were both retired.
Right.
Of course. And we knew that. But something that I didn't know, and maybe you did, you probably did.
What?
Is that Monorail Teal is built using the undamaged portions of Pink and Purple.
Really?
And now is teal. So I'm never going to be able to ride teal again without getting sad.
My favorite color.
I know.
Wow, I had no idea.
It's fused together pink and purple.
I'm glad they used the parts, I guess, but whoa. I bet most people don't know that.
Yeah.
Hey, you're never going to look at Monorail Teal the same.
For real.
It is actually fused together parts from the monorails that were involved in the most horrific of monorail accidents.
Oh, yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That is crazy to think about.
It gives me like a weird feeling.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm gonna have a weird feeling when I go on it again.
I did not know that they did that at all.
Right. Fascinating.
Okay, so that's why I don't. That's why I remember Monorail Pink, and we don't have Monorail Pink anymore. Got it. Okay, understand.
Oh, had you asked earlier about Pink?
Well, I had said I remember Monorail Pink.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember Monorail Pink?
But you didn't remember Purple, yeah.
And you were like, yeah, I think so, because you didn't. It's hard to remember stuff or to know that you've seen pictures of it. It's
hard, especially the stuff from your childhood, because you don't know if you made something up.
Oh yeah.
What's the deal?
We do that on the show all the time.
Right.
We're like, did I make that up, or was that actually a thing I saw on Walt Disney World?
Was there actually one at some point called Monorail Cotton Candy? No, right?
I don't think so.
But there was one that was pink and blue.
I think that was Monorail Pink. Right?
Okay,
because it
I don't
had
know.
blue. I don't know. because some of them have like accent colors, you know?
Yes.
Like the black one
Has
has like
red.
red in it. And I
Right.
think that was the deal with pink, was that it had like blue, light blue.
But I don't feel like I don't feel like it was that long ago. We're talking about pre-2000. I guess so. I guess it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know, because that was also right in the gap for me where I didn't go
Yes.
from like
Yes. Same.
2007 or 8 until way after that. So,
Yeah.
for me, it was somewhere in the years between 2003 and 2006 or 7 that I would have remembered that. And that is kind of a long time ago now.
Yeah.
And also, that's a pretty minor detail of your Magic Kingdom
Right.
vacation is
Right.
what color, monorail you got. So that type of thing.
But the cotton candy one I thought was fun because it had that make it pink, make it blue kind of aspect to it
Oh,
all.
I actually never thought about that, but that is very fun. Like, that's obviously, that evokes some classic Disney feelings.
Yeah.
For sure.
Although we probably should have been calling it Monorail Sleeping Beauty, not Monorail Cotton Candy, if we were making this all up in our brains anyway.
Yeah, since this is a game that we're the only ones playing.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Oh, it does say we do still have silver.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
Oh, actually,
so-
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just repaired the fire damage and it's back. Or maybe we got a whole new car
Okay,
added.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense if it was only isolated to one car. And okay, wow, and they kept, wow, okay. I'm learning so much about the monorail that I had
Yeah.
no idea about. That is crazy.
I'm going to end on just a little bit about the spiel.
Okay.
And that's what they call it. That's what Disney calls it, by the
Yeah.
way. So, and then you can ask me your questions, and then that really wraps up the history.
The spiel is iconic.
Yeah.
It's one of the more memorable, like, Disney prints, like,
Oh my
quotes
God.
from it on
Yes.
stuff. It's the whole thing.
And we have shirts that feature this.
Yes.
The please stand clear of the. But I change out the word doors
Mm-hmm.
on our Etsy shop. But you're right. It's iconic. It's in my brain. Every once in a while, I'll be listening to D Park Radio, which plays Disney park songs.
Not
and
a sponsor, but reach
not-
out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That feels like a matchmade to heaven.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they will play the old school, because the narration has changed a bunch, and that's really what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to really go into it. The please stand clear of the doors
Mm-hmm.
part, and then they say it in Spanish. That is Jack Wagner,
Okay.
the voice of Disneyland, and that is still him. That is a separate recording from the spiel that says welcome to all of the things
This
that
and
they
this and
say.
this,
It's changed throughout the years, so I'm not even going to start. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So to begin with, it was Jack Wagner, and then after the Grand Floridian opened, it changed to Kevin Miles.
Okay.
Then in 1998, it was changed to Matt Hansen. These are employees of Disney, the company.
These are
Yeah.
voice actors.
Yeah.
Hey, tag them in the comments of this, you guys.
In 2004, it was changed to Joe Hirsch.
Okay.
And then here's the weirdest thing ever. In 2012, it was changed to somebody that has remained unnamed.
No.
Why?
Another Disney narration mystery.
Why?
It's weird that there's two, right?
Yeah.
Because
Are
famously,
you talking about Spaceship Earth?
yeah, there's like conflict about who narrated Spaceship Earth.
That one I feel like is a conflict or has confusion because of how long ago it was, even though that still seems dumb.
Okay.
But this is now.
Unbelievable.
Who's not taking credit for this?
This isn't on somebody's LinkedIn. This isn't
real.
on a resume somewhere.
For real, it would be on mine.
It's not Disney having a monorail mystery about who's narrating the spiel.
They just didn't name the person. It's
Very-
weird.
That is odd. Okay.
right.
So somebody is doing the spiel.
Yeah.
Right. So even right now.
Yeah.
So wow, that is very strange.
I know.
It's not like a big deal. It's just odd.
It's just weird.
Just a little weird thing, huh?
Yeah.
I follow some voice actors who do the current narrations on a bunch of stuff, and they love to tweet.
Yeah.
My voice is in Disney. How cool!
Yes.
So it is in
See
this
if it's
day
one
and
of them.
age. I know. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing some.
We're gonna
DMs.
figure this out.
I'm gonna start writing some DMs.
Yeah.
We'll loop back to this.
All right.
Okay. Wow.
I will try to answer your questions, but that's all I know.
They're just they're not
Oh,
information based.
Okay, good.
Do you remember special monorail spiels for stuff like when Stitch's
Stitch,
Great Escape?
yes.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that
And
you
see, and
remember
now
this.
we probably know who that was. It was probably Joe Hirsch.
Probably. So all that I remember from this was that when Stitch's Great Escape, the Tomorrowland attraction, was opening in the Magic Kingdom, they had Stitch like come and hijack the
Oh
monorail
yeah,
spiel a little bit.
right. I forgot it was actually Stitch that was talking. You're totally right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
I'm
that
sure
probably
they
wasn't Joe
also
Hirsch. But
no,
maybe it
but
was. Maybe it
yeah,
was
because he probably was like Stitch's Great Escape
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, that's the one that stands out the most to me. I don't know if they did others, but I think it's really cool that they have the ability or they
Yeah.
have the thought to like edit that into the monorail
Well,
spiels when stuff
I
opens.
also remember when I was a kid, and I don't think that they still do this now. Although I am going to be completely honest, even though we take the monorail a few times a month, probably,
Yes.
we now are so used to everything that we're just talking, we're not listening. So they could still be talking about this for all I
We're
know.
not using our listening ears.
No, we're not.
Using our talking voices.
We're planning what reviews
The app
and
is out.
podcasts. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So when I was a kid, I remember them talking about the Grand Floridian Wedding Pavilion
Me
because,
too.
yeah, as a child, I was like, that's where I'm going to get married.
Me too.
Yeah, so I know that was added when, Grand
With
Floridian.
the picturesque view of Cinderella Castle.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Definitely made me want to go in there. 100%. I was like, I need to lay eyes on
We need
this.
to start saving now.
Oh, well, that too. Oh, boy.
We didn't know that.
If I would have
They should have
saved
said.
$500 a month
Starting when I was 8.
starting when I was 8 years old, then I could have had a shot. No, yeah, that definitely always did stand out to me too, because you do kind of get to see it because it's like sitting on the water there.
Oh yeah.
At the Grand Floridian, it does absolutely that makes you want to get married there so bad.
Yeah.
They probably made so much money from that.
I know.
Right? Genius marketing.
Even 20 years later, because we were kids
Yeah.
planning our wedding. You know what I mean?
Right. That's so true. Yeah, that definitely stood out to me. I loved when they would do the custom ones. Also, my last question here is, I don't know if it should be on the route to Epcot or on the maybe for Pride Month, but we need a rainbow monorail.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
It's time.
Or you could put it on the Epcot one, like you said,
Right.
and it'd be a figment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Ooh, I love that. That would be great.
Monorail Imagination.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I love that.
It's time.
It is time.
We need that. I've seen that they've also, I guess the latest cosmetic change to the monorail that I know of is that they put the lights on the track.
Yes.
Or on the monorail on the underside.
Yeah, under lights, like you see on cars.
And they like match the color of the monorail.
Yeah.
Is that fun? Do you like that?
I guess.
You know what I almost wish it was? I almost wish instead of it being paint, that the actual inline stripe on each of the monorails
that would be so much better.
Or
because this under monorail light thing that they've got going on just reminds me of those stupid cars.
Yeah.
They have it everywhere. It's like not impressive right now.
It would be cooler to see the stripe because
that would be
amazing. Like a streak of color through the night.
Yes,
that would be cool.
That would be cool.
All right, Disney.
Come on.
That can't be expensive.
And I think that the colors of the underlight that they've got going don't always match, and then it kind of like you'll see. I'll point it out next time.
I don't like that.
I mean, you can't match all of them because like on Monorail Gold, it's like they put a yellow light. It's yellow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It bothers me just to begin with that there's a yellow and gold. Those are too close together just to start with.
I know. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
I don't like that.
It's you did not run out of colors.
No, there's others.
Yeah, I put in Monorail cotton candy. I don't see anything. So maybe I just made that up.
No, I remember what you're talking about. It's like pink with blue accents, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Nope, not coming up.
Well, I guess not. Okay, but I am seeing pictures of Monorail Pink. Apparently it did not have those accents, but I definitely remember this like magenta color that it had. That to me, like
oh yeah, it was like flamingo pink.
Yes, I remember that like immediately. So definitely have memory of the pink monorail. And of course, if you Google monorail, you can see monorails in all other countries like Thailand, and they have like way more advanced monorails than us, and it's so crazy. I know it's not high priority for our monorails to be updated because, like you said, they still do the trick, they still function. It is what it is. But yeah, a
Wait, you
cosmetic
do
change.
remember a pink and blue, right?
A pink one that had like blue
Yeah.
accents on it. I feel like I do remember that,
Okay,
but now
'cause
I'm
now
googling monorail pink
and I
and we
don't.
don't see it. So what's to do with that?
Yeah, maybe we made it up.
Or
That's not possible.
maybe it was temporary and they changed the paint schemes and
But
stuff.
still, it should be Googleable.
It should be, huh?
Anyway, okay, we're gonna move on.
I will say, the monorail in general. How do you feel about the monorail in terms of like in ranking with the other transportation services? It's really high up for me because it's unique to Disney. It's very convenient. Like this is one of my preferred methods of transportation.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking about our ranking Disney
Oh,
transportation podcast episode, and we did not rank it that high when we broke everything down, and it was just because of the chaos that happens on the monorail after Magic Kingdom.
Yes, which is a very fair reason because so what did we put, the Skyliners and boats?
Yes, we actually put the boats really high because of the fact that they're not they're
crazy.
not jammed. There's not usually a crazy line.
Even at the end of the day, they're not that bad.
Yeah. But we never take the boats, so I'm not. You know what I mean? I think it's hard. It's hard to choose something that you don't. We always take the monorail for the convenience.
Yeah.
So if I had to do it again, I would probably put the monorail higher.
Yeah.
But not as high as the Skyliner. I love the Skyliner. I love the monorail for its nostalgia for me, but the Skyliner I love.
Well, guess what?
What?
This is a 2-part episode, and next week that will be our topic of conversation.
Jake will be researching the Skyliner.
Woo! It's not the monorail. I would say is like iconic Disney stuff, and I would say the Skyliner is like the new baby. The newest of the lot, so it's kind of exciting.
And it still has a nostalgic element because of the sky buckets that used to be there. I don't think that's what they were called, but that's what my family called them.
Skyway.
The Skyway.
Yeah, they are sky buckets because I feel it's one of those things where that is not unique to Disney. There are sky buckets everywhere, So I think a lot of people call them sky buckets.
Yeah.
I definitely have referred to them as that.
That's all my family has ever called them. So I didn't even know the real, sometimes it's like that.
It's definitely like that. There's a lot of stuff that we don't actually call by the full or correct name throughout Disney history. That's just part of the fun.
Some of the names are way too long. Okay, we're not even going to get...
No, we're not getting into that. They kept it simple with monorail. I liked that.
Yeah.
If you guys would like to continue the ride of this podcast, then you don't need no ticket. You don't need no credit card. All you need is to subscribe to the Neverland Navigation podcast. It would really help us out a lot. And if you would like to continue the discussion on social media, then you can find us online at Neverland Navco on both Instagram and TikTok.
Yep. And if you are interested in any custom Disney or other kind of trip t-shirts or dish towels or sweatshirts, we have an Etsy shop called Neverland Navigation on Etsy. But that is also where you get your shirts if you book a trip with me as your travel agent. And if you want to do that or you have questions about that, just send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com. I can give you my phone number. We'll talk about your trip, and then you get free shirts.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Any kind of shirts, custom shirts.
Maybe you want a monorail shirt.
Maybe you do.
Each one of your family members, different color
color.
monorail shirt.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's such a cute shirt. I love when people have shirts like that.
I love that too.
Yeah, we can do that for you.
We can.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us on our Highway in the Sky episode. We've got a transfer onto the Epcot line, so we'll see you on our next adventure.
Bye.